Hey guys, this is Locke. This is my review of Cloud. Um, Cloud is a very good unit. He has a lot of things going for him. He is obviously a very good lightning slasher. Um, if you just take a look at his skills, especially his slash skills, he has a lot of stuff going for him. He has, like a triple hit skill. He has a very high modifier on his cross slash skill, 240%. So he does a ton of damage with his slash skills. But really, I don't actually want to talk about his slash skills too much because I don't think that that's what the unique thing about him is. Because if you look at other slash units, like for example Titus, Dwayne, UR Zazan, these are all like very good slash units, but they're all obviously different elements. So Titus, not Titus. Cloud is the lightning version of them. And of course, all the units I talked about are also, limited units. So maybe you're a newer player that doesn't have them. So this is your main, slash unit, and that's fine. He works perfectly well as a slash unit. But I think the thing that really sets him apart is that access to the Ranger subjob, and also being a lightning unit, it just works so well with everything that is going for him. So I'm going to go into his stats and talk about it actually from a Ranger perspective. So, if you've been around this game for a while, Federica is one of the highest damaging range units, right? And the reason she's so high damaging is because although her attack is low, she just has so many, these rangers have so many different modifiers, like missile attack modifiers and, things like that, and obviously very huge range that make them a threat even if they have low attack. Cloud, on the other hand, because he is a melee slash unit, his attack is actually really, really high. Now, I'm not going to go into the showing you how I'm adding these up. You just kind of have to take my word for it. But if you're looking at base attack, Cloud has 426 base attack, while Federica has 298. So Cloud has more than 100 base attack than Federica. And that's just base attack. Base attack is adding up the unit stats attack, so that 215 here, and the attack from the job stats, that 211 here. You can do the same for Federica if you want to confirm what I'm saying. And then the reason the base attack is important is because any kind of modifier is placed from that base attack. So if you have a 50% modifier, that 50% is coming from the base attack. So that would be 50% of 426. Whereas for Federica, if you add a 50% attack modifier on her, it's 50% of 298. So as you can see, Cloud has a very high base attack, and you put his card on him that's going to increase his attack by 50%. That is going to obviously do a ton of damage from range. So not only is he have access to all these range skills, he's going to do assuming no missile resistance and no defenses or whatever, he's flat out he's going to do more damage than Federica, especially if Federica is on the same team as him and she's able to give him the buffs that he needs, like the missile attack plus 35 buff. So as I said, he has very high attack. He also has pretty decent agility. He has 68 agility that you can see here. He has resistance to disable, which is good. He's missing stop. I mean, I would have really liked if he had stop resistance, but I mean, it is what it is, and I'll take it. Resistances across the board are pretty good. He only has a negative resistance to magic, which is kind of common with these melee attackers, these melee slashing type units. So let's go into his skills and see how you would build this guy. Like, if you are going for a slash build anyway, you would probably take his passive, which is the ex-soldier first class. It gives you a huge amount of defense penetration and HP. And then if you're going for like a slash type of unit, like maybe you're taking the Nightblade subjob or something, I would probably put the either the Nightblade mastery or the mercenary skills as his passive, one of the two. If you're playing him in like live PvP with for CM or something, I would more likely take the mercenary subjob because he would get access to move 4. But if you are going up against a ton of evade and you don't always have and you aren't always able to use that triple slash kill because it's 100% hit chance, you want to use some other skills or something, maybe you might be able to take the Nightblade mastery. Or if you're playing on auto and you don't want him to run ahead too far of your tank or something, maybe you don't want to give him an extra move. Maybe you want to instead put the Nightblade mastery on him. But if you're going to be playing him as a ranger, then you can put the Ranger lore and Ex-Soldier First Class. The Ex-Soldier First Class, I think, is so good just because it has 60% defense penetration. That is just insane, right? And then Ranger lore, obviously, because it gives you an additional range. If you want to take a look at his range, on his barrage, he has range of 6. Yep. So with that Ranger lore, he would have a range of 7. If you have Frederica on the team who gives him an aimed fire buff, that's a range of 8. So one of the reasons that I actually like him, playing as a ranger on the same team as Frederica, is because typically Frederica has always been the carry of the team, right? But she also has access to aimed fires. So what you would typically want is on her first turn, you want her to use Revitalize, so she has a ton of AP, and then on her second turn, you want her to use aimed fire, and then on her third turn, now she's able to attack. Whereas with Cloud and Frederica on the same team, you can have on Cloud's first turn use Revitalize, giving him a lot of AP, and then on the first turn, Frederica would give him the aimed fire buff, and on the second turn, he's able to do a ton of damage from range 8. Right? So I feel like that setup is just really, really good. And again, he just complements Frederica so well because Frederica has innate missile resistance. So if you meet an enemy with like high missile resistance, Frederica is going to do a lot of damage to it because she's able to penetrate 40% of the missile penetration. Whereas Cloud is able to instead penetrate at least 60% of the defense. So if you meet an enemy with has like moderate defense and moderate missile resistance, both of these units will do pretty good damage to it. It's very rare to find a unit that has 100% defense and 100% missile resistance, but I guess that could happen. Fortunately, even if you're building Cloud as a ranger and you meet somebody with 100% missile resist, you're not actually lacking in any of his slash skills. Like if you give him his own VC and then you have maybe you have Frederica's Dream on Frederica, that's fine. And then for a third VC, you maybe have Aegon or the Thundercat VC, which I'll show you in a second because I don't know how to pronounce the name. But even still, he will do a ton of damage with his slash skills. So maybe he will do let's assume the enemy has 90% missile resistance. So if you're playing on auto, you will maybe use Sharpshooter Barrage and do like very little damage. But on the second turn, when the enemy comes closer to you, you'll probably use Cross Slash. And that will do a ton of damage unless the enemy has very, very high missile and slash, which is, it's not likely, but I guess it could happen. So in that case, then you have to come up with a different strategy. But what I'm trying to say is he has many different ways to damage the enemy. Even if you're running him on Ranger sub, he will still do a ton of damage with slash skills. So I feel like he's just a very good unit, especially on a lightning team. You can also run him with Nivlu as well, maybe like Nivlu, Frederica, Cloud, and Nivlu has her skills that is able to support him. Like she can use barrier breaks, she can use dispel spread if the enemy is using like missile resistance buffs or something. And of course, all of them will chain. They will all do lightning chain. They'll actually all do lightning range chain if you have all of them on the same team. But you don't have to run them on the Ranger sub. You can actually just run them on Nightblade as well. And it gives you access to some really interesting skills as well. These are common skills because Nightblade has been around for a while, but they're very good still. Like it gives you, missile resistance and pierce resistance. It has this skill, which you will never use on auto, but if you're a manual player, it can drain AP from enemies. So if the enemy doesn't have any AP, then they can't really use any skills, right? So that is very debilitating for enemies to face. And then he has concentration, which can increase his defense penetration even more if you need. Fortunately, the weapon that you have on him, the Buster Sword, it gives 30%, sorry, not 30%, but 30 lightning attack and 15 slash. Let's forget the 15 slash for a second, but that 30 lightning attack is always going to be beneficial to him, whether he's doing missile type damage or slash type damage. So that weapon is the best in stat for him, and it will always increases damage. It'll always increase a 30% modifier to any of his skills that he uses. Now I'm going to talk about his vision cards for a minute, and I think even if you run him on like a slash type of like even if you learn him under slash sub jobs, Frederica's Dream is still going to be a good lightning card to have on the team, like on Frederica, because for lightning units, it also increases missile resistance by 20%. So if you're running him on Nightblade sub, like running him as a slasher, you'll probably use Nightblade sub and give him 25% missile resistance. That's going to be stacked with the 20% from the Frederica's Dream, and then I think he has like innate 10 or 15% missile resist. So basically, it's like a good chunk of missile resistance, right? So I think it makes sense to run him with Frederica and give Frederica's Dream. He might not benefit from the missile attack if you don't have him as Ranger sub, but he will still benefit from the increased missile resistance. So I think that's a good card to have on the team. Obviously, when his card comes out, the Guard Scorpion, that'll be the best card to put on him because it'll increase his stats by a lot and give the entire Lightning team a boost of 50% attack. Other good cards that I mentioned was the Aegon. If you're running 9S with him, you can put this on 9S. 9S will he has access to some slash skills, so he can use that. But it also increases the HP of everybody on the team by 25% as long as they're all lightning. And then the Cat Esper I talked about is a MR. Sorry, not Cat Esper, but the cat card that comes with the Esper. But this card, I don't know how to pronounce it. That's why I keep calling it the cat. But this is good for lightning units. It'll increase the lightning attack by 20% for, not 20%, but 20. 20 flat lightning attack for everybody on the team. This will stack with the 50% attack that is on Cloud's VC. So it's good to have both of these on the same, on the same team. And the increased acquired AP is actually, I think, very good, especially if you have a chance to use Cloud's buff. I'm gonna just go to the buff for a second as I talk about it, so you can see what I mean. This is the one I'm talking about, the Soldier's Honor. So what it does is it restores AP by 10 for him and his allies that has this buff whenever they do a critical hit. So this is a good way of restoring AP, not just for him, but for his team. And if you have this and the Cat VC that I talked about, that 10 is going to go up to 13. So this is a very efficient way of just restoring AP while you're attacking for 3 turns. This is pretty unique to him, actually. I don't think anybody in the game has this kind of buff yet. So this is something that's unique about him, and you can definitely take advantage. And I think all of this makes Cloud just very versatile and able to fit into many things. Imagine that AP restore buff on a lightning team when you're doing raids, right? Like it's going to make the raid run so much easier and so much faster for the whole team. And he can be used in many different scenarios in PvP, auto, and live, and he can be used in a lot of PvE scenarios. If you're running into say tower and all the enemies have so much different resistances, you can put him on the soldier sub-job and use this skill, because this skill doesn't have a type. As you can see here, it's a typeless type of elemental lightning attack. But it doesn't matter what the slash resistance is or missile resistance is, it'll always do a ton of damage just because it doesn't have a type. So he's good in things like tower and other raid content where enemies might have very high resistances, because you can put him on this sub and still do a ton of damage. So overall, I can see him being a very good unit that when you're starting out, if you build your account around him, he will do well. If you want to use Frederica as your select ticket summon and bring her shards up so that she can pair well with Cloud, that's definitely an option. I think that would work really well. And if you get Nivlu at some point as well, you can run the 3 of them, and I'm pretty sure that's a solid team that you can have. Even if the enemy has a very high missile resistance, Frederica will be able to penetrate some of the missile resistance anyway. Cloud will be able to penetrate some of the defense resistance, and Cloud has a second type of attack as well. So overall, I rate him very highly, and I definitely recommend for anybody that's starting out to definitely build him, because he is one of those units like Titus, who is just an all-around good unit that can be used in many different places. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you have any other questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.